Sahanavavatu Sahano Bhunakto Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Yogena Chittasya Padena Vajam Malam Sharirasya Cha Vaidyagena Yopakarotam Pravaram Muninam Patanjalim Pranjaliranatosmi Patanjalim Pranjaliranatosmi. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shri Guru Maharaj ki jai. We were discussing about the subjects of attraction in Yoga Sutra. The fifth point was karma and rebirth. So how karma develop into rebirth? There is a elaborate discussion on that. It is in the second chapter. First chapter also we will get some points. In second chapter and mainly in fourth chapter. And then correlation between environment, life and rebirth. So what is the relation? Life and rebirth. What is life and what is rebirth? And what is the role of environment in these two? Morning we were discussing the point how the thought process can change our physical body. Related to that, you can see how the environment changes the thought process. And then the changes happen in the physical body. Usually we see that where we live, the environment is directly changing the body. That is what we say. When you go to a cold place, you feel cold there. When you go to a hot place, you feel hot there. Seemingly it is directly affecting. Actually, it is not so. In between, mind and prana is working there to change our body. So when we touch fire, we feel heat. So that is, it is connected to brain, and brain gives the signals, then we say it is heat. The same thing happens here also. So we will discuss this based on Sankhya philosophy of creation. It is a very interesting point because it is connected to environment and the pollution. We create the pollution. Now who is polluting the environment? We will know who is polluting. The human beings are they have the responsibility of pollution. Our Upanishads say, in Brihadaranyaka Upanishads there is a portion. The first chapter of Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, one of the major Upanishads, it says human beings, they are the responsible for the creation. They are the responsible for the changes in the creation. So we have a responsibility on that, and that is why it is important to know. Then the seventh point is God as existence. Now in Yoga Sutra, there are sutras connected to Ishvara. Ishvara Pranidhana Dva. Now, who is this Ishvara? Who is this God? If there any existence as God, or the existence itself is God, so we will examine that. And most probably, if you concentrate on that, you will get God realization after this sutras when we study. Really. Self as pure consciousness. Now what is self? And I added this adjective as pure consciousness, because this word consciousness is not very correct in English what we meant to say. It is not correctly communicating. The consciousness word means we are conscious about something. We are conscious about an object which is there in the mind. If nothing is there, then according to the theory, there is no consciousness. I am not conscious about anything. It is called unconsciousness. I was not conscious about. We say normally, I was not conscious about that incident. I was not conscious when I was doing this. So it means by the word consciousness, what we understand is not very correct. You are correctly communicating the self there. So we will examine that, how it is, and try to know what is really self. How can we experience the reality of self? Goal of life, that is complete satisfaction. Now we live by means. We need food, water, shelter, cloth, many things we need for our life. And all life we are earning. For what purpose? It is not very clear. If you ask somebody, he may say that I want money to protect my body. I want money to build a house. I want money to purchase a vehicle, a car. So he goes on counting the things he needs. Actually, we do not know for what what purpose we are living, what is the goal of our life. The protecting the body is not our goal. Protecting the body is secondary. It is a essential need, but we know that is not our goal. If you ask somebody, why you live? I am living because I want to protect my body. Nobody says that. I don't think anybody can say that. So then, that is not the goal. Then building house is not the goal. That is also a need, essential need we can say. Sometimes it is essential, sometimes not. Okay. And buying cloth and garments is not even essential. There are people living without clothes. They use only one or two clothes. That much is necessary. So that is not essential. Even then we need that money because our society, in the morning we discussed about heterosuggestion. It says without wearing cloth, you are considered as uncultured person. You have no manners, you are not wearing clothes correctly. So it means society make you to wear it. Anyway, it becomes essential for our life. But that is not our goal. Now, what is the goal of life? Why you live? Why this body is sustained? Why you are earning for your sustainability to maintain this body? Why you want to maintain this body? Why you want to get all these things? For what purpose you are doing all these things? That may be the goal. We will examine what is the goal. Okay? This is all I am putting the subjects there. The elaborate discussion will come. We are preparing we are getting the things ready for the sutra study. It's all background. Now, the secrets of relationships, mind, body, and environment. The relationship problem is one of the problems now we face. There is problem with friendships, there is problem with family, there is problem with father and son, there is problem with husband and wife, there is problem with relation with the society. So altogether, relationship is a big problem. We are facing it. And there are retreat, studies, and many techniques they want to learn to maintain the relationship. So we have to understand what is relationship means and how it comes, if we need a relationship or not. Because when we try to make a relationship, that is something difficult. And when relationship comes naturally, we know that is really a relationship. So when we try to make some relationship, so what happens there and what is the nature of relationship which comes naturally to us. So we will examine this. Then the last point here is Satkarya. It's a Sanskrit term. It means potential assistance of effect in the cause. cause and effect relation. You know what is cause, what is effect? Cause and effect. Effect means a product. And the material of that product is called cause. We call it material cause, and the product is called effect or product or karya. Okay? This is a fundamental principle of Sankhya and Vedanta. They say nothing is really created and nothing is really destroyed. There is no destruction as such. The destruction is disappearing. The disappearing, what we see, if an effect disappears, we say it is destructed. Actually, there is no destruction. It means there is no absence of existence of anything. I repeat this. There is no absence of any object. There is only presence. And the existence cannot be made non-existence. Now, what we say as destruction. When an object changes its forms into another form, we say that object is destroyed. Now you see this cloth. This cloth is a product. It's a product of cotton, linen, and so on. This we say this is effect or product, or in Sanskrit we say karya. You pronounce it? Karya. This you have to remember, because sometimes I may use this word. Karya means product or effect. And this is karya. This is product. Now, if you want to destroy this, there are so many ways to destroy this. If you separate the thread in it, because cloth is made of threads. You separate it, take out the threads, then the cloth is disappeared. Now you won't say this is cloth. Now the name changed. It become thread. Now what happened to the cloth which was there? It is destroyed? Changed, transformed. The existence of cloth is still there in the form of thread. We can again make cloth out of it. This is very simple theory. Because this is one way of changing the effect into the cause. Another way, you can burn this cloth. Then what happens? You will get some ashes and carbon. Then also it is destroyed. Now is cloth is destroyed or not? Now according to our understanding, cloth is perfectly destroyed. Because you cannot bring it back. But again, it is not destroyed. The first example, we took the immediate cause, And this example, we went on to the last cause of, the ultimate cause of the cloth. That is, it is made out of gases, carbon, and all other materials related to the earth elements. You see, carbon goes back to earth, and the gases went there back. Gases they are together with the air. Now gases are there, and the carbon is there in the mud with the earth. Now, if you want to bring back that cloth with that carbon, you have to produce cotton there. You have to do effort to make cottons again with that carbon, then it may come in different forms. That is manifestation theory. This is the theory they use, the Sankhya and Yoga philosophy use for the creation. You can see how it changes. Now, normally when you see, you will not find the cause, the ultimate cause in the product. That is a problem for it. That is why we say, oh, it is gone. There is no going, there is no coming. Only appearance and disappearance. The material cause changes its forms, and with the help of efficient cause. Efficient cause is like, if you want to make cloth, the cloth weaver is efficient cause. He is an efficient cause. And the farmer who makes the cotton, he is the efficient cause there. Okay? So this is not very difficult to understand. This is the theory of assistance. That is why we put the word potential assistance. The assistance in the state of potentiality. Instead of saying ultimate cause, the potentiality is there. It may come in different forms. This is called Satkarya. It means, in Gita it says, the assistance cannot be made non-assistance, and non-assistance cannot be made into assistance. You cannot change it. This is the truth in Sankhya. There are many other subjects related to this, because our board is completed. Now we won't see more, but there are many other subjects we discuss in this. Now, you can see this board. So we were talking about Sankhya philosophy. Sankhya philosophy is one of the philosophies, Indian philosophies. Now I want to mention one more point here that is also noteworthy. That is the difference between religious textbooks and philosophical textbooks. There is a confusion. When we say philosophy, we want to understand what is philosophy really means. All the religious textbooks are not philosophical. And the philosophy, when we say, especially the schools of philosophies, is not religious textbooks. That is to say, this Yoga Sutra is not a religious textbook. is a school of philosophy. And why it is so? What is the difference? The first difference is, in religious textbooks, there are so many rules and regulations related to the caste system, sex and other things. Accordingly, you have to perform the performance injected there. You have to follow the injunctions correctly. You cannot change it. You will get the benefit, what you want, you will get the benefit. I am not talking about the benefits. Benefits are there, but you have to follow that. And in religious textbooks, you cannot question, you can only follow what it says. You may be understanding, may not be. That doesn't make any difference. You just follow what it says. And after following some time, you will get the benefit correctly. Why it is so? Because many of the things described in religious textbooks are beyond our intellectual grasp. We are not ready to grasp it directly. Like when we go to the schools, kindergartens, the teacher teaches us. Whatever she or he teaches, we take it as truth and follow it. That is all. We have no choice to change it or ask question, why you are teaching, why 1 + 1 is 2? What is the reason? No, you cannot ask questions. 1 + 1 is 2. You have to believe and take. That is all. So we follow that, and after you complete your graduation and degrees, PhDs, then you will find the answer why 1 + 1 is 2. After a long practice. So it is something like this. The religious textbook, what it says, when it says, you have to follow that. In that age, that time, you just believe in that and follow. Then you will get the answer later. And there is some descriptions, determinations. There are many truth. Religious practices are always beneficial for life. Everything is there. But sometimes it is very difficult to understand what it says and what is the purpose of that. That is why we are now we are not very interested to practice that. We are slowly going out of that. Anyway, that is another story. But our story is related to philosophical textbooks. In philosophical textbooks, in Indian philosophies, mainly this Sankhya and other philosophies, apart from Mimamsa, that fifth one here, Mimamsa, and all other philosophies, they are not differentiating the sex of religion or caste or anything like that. Nothing. They are only concentrated on the subject matter which is useful for the all universe, all the people in the world. They take it as one for useful for human beings. That is the speciality of this philosophical system. And every one of this system claims that our system will lead the aspirant to the goal of final emancipation. That is their declaration. If you come to us, we will give you emancipation, that is moksha, liberation, ultimate liberation, ultimate satisfaction. So the last word you can see here, the goal of life, complete satisfaction. We want to be satisfied completely forever. That is only you can attain in the last part of your life. Your life means, in this life, maybe many lives, the last part of your life, that is emancipation. So they say, we will give you, if you follow us, we will give you that emancipation, moksha. So all philosophies, systems, they follow that. And the other beautiful thing in this system is, we see the first 6 systems, and the second system there is 2 groups. There are 2 groups, one is orthodox, another is heterodox. It means the first group, they follow the Vedas, the scriptural textbooks. And the second group, they don't follow the Vedas. This is the difference. And even in the first group, all the 6 groups, each one, their philosophy is different. Their arguments are different. Sadhanas, the practices are different. Everything is different. One is contradicting to another. It is there. As we see the basic philosophies, as we see the practices. And that is one thing. When we take all the 6 together and see, it is not contradicting, but they are contributories. They are contributing each other. If you take each differently, then it is contradicting. If you take together for your understanding, then it is contributing each other. Now we can see here regarding Sankhya and Yoga. The Sankhya is contributing the metaphysics of yoga, in metaphysics for yoga, and yoga is elaborating the practices of Sankhya philosophy. How can we achieve that? So it is each other they are contributing. And you see the third one, Nyaya. Nyaya, it means logic. Based on logic, they established their philosophy. Even Nayayikas, one who follow Nyaya philosophy, they say, if you want to meditate, you study Yoga Sutras. They believe in yoga philosophy for this purpose, for meditation and practices. And in their philosophy, there is Yogaja Pratyaksha. Yogaja Pratyaksha means the visions of yogis. The Nayayikas, even the logicians, they say the visions of yogis are real, very correct. Sometimes our visions, our viewpoints may have some defect. But yogis, if they say something, from there you can say the sixth sense or that sense, that super consciousness level, that will be right. They say it is yogaja pratyaksha. So it means they admit the existence of yoga philosophy and its practices. Even the logician they admit it. And of course we know Vedanta also takes the support of yoga and Sankhya. Without Sankhya, Vedanta cannot exist, cannot make its developments in philosophy as well as sadhana. So it needs the help of Sankhya, Mimamsa, Nyaya, and Yoga Darshana. The Vedanta takes all these supports. So this way, these six philosophies, they are contributing each other. If you correctly understand, you can use it for your betterment, your better sadhana. Okay? And one another interesting thing in these philosophies, they interact each other. When you study any of this philosophy, you can see they put the arguments of the opponent and then they answer it. When you study Vedanta, you can see the arguments of Mimamsa, Sankhya, Yoga, Vaisheshika, Nyaya, and Buddhism, Jainism, Charvaka, and all other philosophies. They put as opponents. Then there is a discussion, hot discussion. And sometimes defeated, sometimes is there taking its points, what is needed. Actually, this is the beauty of our philosophy, Indian philosophy. They just open debate and find out the reality, or they try to establish the reality from that debate. So this is valid debate. We say the debate not for the sake of debating, for the sake of establishing a reality, a truth. So this way, the debating each other, they enrich their own philosophy. This is very interesting. How Vedanta is so accepted logically and practically or philosophically, because it takes all the good things from other philosophies. So they have all the good things from other philosophies, and then they use it in their own way to establish their philosophies. So this way they enrich their philosophical points. If there is some fault, they will remove that. Then they make it as a new form. So, here, in the philosophies, after these discussions and debates, you can change the philosophy if you want. You can remove the bad things, or which is not very practical or logical. You can change the philosophy. But there in religion, as far the religion is concerned, you cannot change anything like that. Religion, you have to practice. That is all. There is no change, because religion is completely based on belief and practice, both together. So you believe in it and practice. That is all. There is no no discussion or debate is allowed. Debate is allowed when it comes to this philosophical system. So you cannot ask why this lamp is littered. Why this lamp? Why we need this lamp? Why we do arati and prayers? You will know sometimes, after when you do research on that, or there are reasons why we light the lamp on everything, but you cannot ask it directly or change it. This is a system established by our tradition or religious practices. So you have to follow that. So there is no debate, that is I want to say. So now you understood where we can debate, where we can ask, where we cannot ask. In Hinduism, there is a confusion about this. They ask questions or the debate on the subjects where the debate is not possible or not allowed. And where it is possible and allowed, they don't know how to debate. So this is the problem. So this is just, I gave an introduction or some summary of the philosophical side of this. And we use all these techniques in Yoga Sutra while we study now. Now you can just see the groups, what it says. The 6 orthodox, we say deemed orthodox. Why it is so? These 6 systems, only the Mimamsa and Vedanta, they follow Veda completely. They are really orthodox systems. But other systems, only partially they follow Veda and they establish their own theories. That is why they are deemed orthodox. Sankhya, Yoga, Vaisheshika, Nyaya, they don't follow Vedas completely. They take some part of Vedic instructions and they follow it, but not everything. Veda in us all. The Sankhya, the name enumeration or evolution. This is the basic thing in Sankhya. Yoga, Samadhi. That is, the Sankhya, the author of Sankhya philosophy, that is Kapila Maharshi. The Kapila is the author of Sankhya philosophy. And Yoga, Samadhi, and Nyaya Darshana, the author of Nyaya is Gautama Rishi. Gautama, his name is Gautama Rishi. In Nyaya, basically, rules of logic. How can we use logic for the sadhana? It's very useful in that sense. And the rules of debates. There are so many rules how to debate. If you want to know the reality, the debates should go by the rules. If you don't follow the rules, the debate is not debate. It's only arguments or quarreling each other. It cannot be debate. So they made so many rules for debate. We can learn that. It's very useful. Even today it is useful. Nobody knows how to debate. There are certain rules. Then you can know that. So logic, how to use logic, where to use, everything is described, elaborately described in Nyaya Darshana. And then comes Vaisheshikas. Atomic theory is established there. It is different from Sankhya Darshana. Sankhya says Prakriti is the cause of creation. Prakriti is the ultimate cause of creation. While Vaisheshika says, not Prakriti is the ultimate cause, but the atoms, the Paramanus, 4 types of atoms. They see atomic theory was primarily established by these Vaisheshikas. There is some differences, the new atomic theory and this ancient atomic theory, but he established the main points there. And evolution. So here comes the evolution from atoms, and then Sankhya comes the evolution from Prakriti. You can see the basic changes. And both of Nayayika and Vaisheshika, they believe in God. And especially Nayayikas, even though they use logic for everything. For everything means for everything. You cannot just say anything to them without logic. They don't accept it. They use logic, then they accept it. That is all. You say, this is flower, because I am seeing it as a flower. Beautiful flower. But Nayayika says, no, I don't believe in that. The flower means, flower must have smell, flower must have a soft touch and taste, like that. Because I think this is real flower. Sometimes plastic flower also looks like flower. So if you see just through eyes and say, no, this is also flower. No, this is plastic. It can be plastic. So there is a chance of misunderstanding. If you take the sense organs and just say what you see, but just from eyesight or any other sense organs, they don't believe in that. So they have to prove it. They use logic, because flower is made out of earth elements. So whatever there in earth elements should be there in this flower. And flower has some definition, what is flower. So that then it is there, then it's okay. So this is Nayayikas. And they also believe in God, and they try to prove it. They have so many textbooks related to proving the God, and it's very, very nice. There was a acharya called Udayana. His name is Udayana Acharya. He was one of the main acharyas of Nyaya Darshana. Because once upon a time, the Nyaya Darshana was very much dominant in our society, like now Vedanta and Yoga. So in those days, he made this book, Atma Tattva Vimarsha. You can see in that how he proved the existence of God with so many arguments, different arguments. So then comes Mimamsa. Mimamsa is basically Vedic darshan and completely orthodox. They follow Veda completely, word by word. Then they establish the philosophy of Veda. What Veda says, what is the use of Veda, and how can we use it. All these things are discussed there. That is why the codes of rituals are there, the rules of rituals, and personal, family, and social life and social duties. Personal duties, family duties, and social duties. Everything is elaborately discussed in Mimamsa Darshan. So basically, all Hindu rules is established there, with logic, with proof of Veda and Shastra. And lastly, Vedanta of Self. Vedanta says about self. There is only one self, one consciousness in the universe. It cannot be separated from each other. There is no cause to separate it. There is no need to separate it because it is beyond division, indivisible consciousness. So they try to establish that, and that is the experience of, the ultimate experience of Vedanta. And then comes these six. They are not following the Vedas. They don't follow the Vedas. What Vedas says, that nothing to do with that. They just oppose the theories or the rituals established in Vedas. The first one is Charvaka, one of the oldest of this category. They are completely materialistic. What is seen, what is experienced is real. This body is real because this is experience. This is our experience. And after this body, when body dies, nobody knows what happens. So they don't believe in anything out of this body, and they don't believe in self. Some of them even not accepting the mind itself. They say there is no mind such thing. Just people say something mind, where is the mind? We cannot see the mind. So there is no mind, there is no sense organs, nothing. This body, so body, if we can eat and make body stronger and do that and enjoy as much as you can. Thus, that is all. After dying, nothing is there. It's a very interesting philosophy. If you want to read, you can read, and you will know what is happening around us is something like that. They are not the Charvakas, but the philosophy is somewhat related to that. And then Jainism, they follow their philosophy is based on non-violence. The non-violence is the main practice, sadhana, for the emancipation. They also see the moksha there, emancipation. And then 4 schools of Buddha. The different schools. Third one, Sautrantikas. They say the material objects are real. That is their opinion. And Vaibhashikas. They say although the material outside are real, but without mind it cannot be real. So there is reality of mind and objects outside. So there is only slight difference with Sautrantrika and Vaibhashikas. And Yogacharas. Yogacharas, they are very much connected to the yoga philosophy. They also practice Ashtanga yoga in different categories. Their style is different, but they are good practitioners of this yoga philosophy, these Yogacharas. They meditate, and their main sadhana is meditation. That is why they are Yogacharas. They don't go out and do satsangas and all those things. They just meditate as long as they can meditate for hours, for days, continuous meditation. So why they do so? Because they say outside objects are superimposed. You cannot find reality in outside objects. They are just superimposed. The mind is everything. The mind creates the objects, and mind creates the enjoyment, mind creates the pain, mind is everything. So you concentrate the mind, then you are beyond mind, then that is everything. So why you go after the objects which are not there? You just do meditation. You will find everything there. That is one theory they say. And the second thing is, everything is momentary. Kshanika. Only one moment it stands. But you feel it is a reality, but it is not so. It is momentary. Every moment it is changing. So what was there in the first movement, it is not there in the second movement. That when you see the flow of water in the river, when you see the river is the same. But it's not true. Every moment the water is changing there. You cannot see the water which you saw the last moment. You're just seeing that totally different water flowing there. But you feel the river is one. You say river is single. There is no river-like thing. This is superimposed. What is there? There is no river. You say it is river. Everything is like that. This is also interesting. If you follow that. So objects. Some of their arguments are there in Vedanta also. It's connected to that. But the philosophy of Vedanta is totally different. They don't believe in self. They don't have any self, any God, and anything like that. Nothing steady there. Everything is unsteady. If there is any self, that is also unsteady. That is also momentary. That is what their philosophy is. And then comes Shunyavada, the philosophy of non-existence. So the Yogacara says everything is momentary. Then these people, they say, actually you are also, you just imagine something, you are also in illusion, there is nothing. No, if there is any existence, you can say, oh, there is something momentary or something steady or whatever. But there is no existence. You cannot prove any existence there. So Nagarjuna is the main promoter of this philosophy. His book is called Madhyamika Karika. Till now it is studied in the schools and colleges of Buddhism. Madhyamika Karika. You know how he establishes this theory? Very interesting. You say, somebody says he is father. Okay? The other person says, I am the son. Both are there. One father, one son. Now, if the son wants to prove himself as son, then he needs what? The father. If father wants to prove himself as father, because they want to establish non-existence of both. So the father wants to prove himself as father, he needs son. Okay. This we can understand. This is a normal understanding. So father needs son to prove himself as father, and son needs a father to prove himself as son. You see, it is very interesting. It is like how they prove it. Now who is first? Father or son? Who is first? Together. Okay. Together when we say, it is impossible to prove. How? Because the existence of father or existence of son together cannot be established, because the moment the son is born, then the father is father. So son is born means, again there is a question. The moment the son is born, how it is understood? It is impossible to prove who is first. Because the father thinks, I am first, because of me the son came. And the son thinks, because of me, if I am not there, then the father cannot be a father. It means their existence is correlated and they need each other's support for their existence. And it cannot be proved who is first, who is second. And the moment we say what is the time when it happens, the birth happens, it is all, there also is the same problem. If you have to take one moment, 1 second, then the first part, the second part, then again divide into the first part, second part, impossible. You cannot do that. So they say, if one object is, if for its existence it needs the support of another object, then that object is not an object. The supported object is an object. And that supported object needs another object's support, then this object is not a real object. That is because it is supported by something else. Then you go on like that. Like this cloth is made out of thread or cotton. Now for the existence of cloth you need thread. What does it mean? The cloth is not real. What is supported, that is thread, that is real. So we know this cotton is real. That is why we say this is cotton cloth. The reality depends on cotton, and we say it is cloth. So this is their argument. Everywhere they put this argument. It is very interesting if you want to do it just for, because even in that Sanskrit and this, you can understand very easily because they correlate everything. And then you say cause and effect. And now we say the father is cause and son is effect. They are also the same problem. Before effect, there is no cause. Cause is cause because the effect is produced. If no effect is produced, no cause is cause. You see how they thought about it. They meditate hours to establish this theory. You feel like very simple, but based on this, they established this theory of non-existence and they realized the reality. They say they realized the reality. And this way, they disprove all our knowledges. And then somebody asks, your theory of non-existence is true or not? The last point you may ask, because you are establishing the theory of non-existence with your theory of non-existence. Is that is true or not? They say no. Our theory of establish this non-existent theory is also not true. That is not existing. So this way there is no existence. So you cannot catch them. Because whatever you say, they will put 2 points and you said you analyze and you prove it, that is there. Then we accept it. You cannot prove it. So they don't want their theory also. In there, the Karika, the last part of the Karikas, the slokas, they say, we are not proving our Shunyavada, the non-existence theory. That is also disproved once you disprove everything else. So after disproving everything else, the theory itself disproved. Because there is no need of theory, because there is no existence to disprove. So this way, like playing with the logic and intellectual tricks, very interesting. That is their Shunyavada theory. Here, you see, because we discussed so much on that, you have to say some comment on that. Here, our Vedanta philosophy takes this Shunyavada, and when they discuss on that, Shankaracharya asked, okay, you say nothing is there, non-existent, everything is non-existence. Everything comes from non-existent and everything is non-existent and everything goes back to non-existence. So, okay, there is non-existent, only non-existence. Then he asked, who understands this? Now you say, you must understand everything as a non-existence. Who understands that? He is existing or not? If you say he is not existing, the one who understands the aspirant is not existing, then how can understand what is the use of your philosophy if nobody is there to understand? So that is the last question he asks. There is no answer for that. Because if you say nobody understands this, then that is itself is wrong. But nobody understands means the author of the philosophy or the tradition itself doesn't understand the non-existence. Then how can you prove that is non-existence? This is only one question he puts. Then he says, there is no meaning going into that. There is nothing to debate on them. So I am leaving it aside. I am not debating on them because they are all meaningless. Without this, they are just playing on the logic and intellect. It is useless. So this way he set it aside. So this is the philosophical variations, and you can see many variations in that. And one more thing regarding this. Even in orthodox systems, some believe in God, some are not accepting God as the existence. Like Sankhya, the traditional Sankhyas, they don't accept God. Because in their 25 principles, there is no counting for God. But new Sankhya, they accept God. Okay? And in yoga, we know, of course, we accept God. There is God, surrendering, bhakti, samarpana, and everything is there. And Naiyayikas, Vaisheshikas, they accept God. And Mimamsa, the traditional Mimamsakas, they don't accept God. They don't accept God. They say the mantras are the gods. What you chant, the mantras. The mantra has its meanings and its energy, that is God. There is no God as such, with the name and form. So that is Mimamsaka. Vedanta accept God. That is, we say, it is a God accepted in a form that is with Maya. We can say in Vedanta, God is a technical God. Technical God means defined God. With definition, you have to understand what is God. In Vedanta, the consciousness, the pure consciousness is the ultimate reality. Non-dualistic consciousness is the ultimate reality. There is no God, there is no individual, there is no Jiva, no Ishvara. But the theory of or the practice of sadhana, there is God. We say that is why I said it is a defined God. There is a definition for God. What is the definition? When the pure consciousness become the cause of the creation, ultimate cause of the creation, the pure consciousness with the support of Maya become God. Maya is the potential material cause of the creation in Vedanta. The potential material cause of the creation. So the Maya and consciousness is connected, then we say Ishvara. So that is there. So until you realize this pure consciousness, Ishvara exists. So once you realize the pure consciousness as yourself, as Brahman, Aham Brahmasmi, then there is no separate existence of God. Okay? This is all technical things. So now we understood the 6 philosophical differences in this. I think up to 3 hours. Okay. So you have time for 15 minutes. Okay. So now we take the subject. The basic introduction is over, because if I introduce more, you may think something else. I think it was when the sutras are going to start. Because I want to establish these things. Without this, if you enter to the sutras, the confusions are more. You will have more confusions. Now you have a basic idea. Because in between, I quote from different levels, or when I refer to many things what we discussed, you will understand what it is. So that is why I established. I wanted to make the foundation very strong. So base, when there is a good base, it is easy to learn and teach. Okay, now there is one more important thing related to yoga. We know 2 types of yogas are there. Hatha yoga and Patanjali yoga. Now we are going to study Patanjali yoga. Basically we are Hatha yogis. So here you can see the integration of both the yogas. Morning we practice Hatha yoga, and morning we study Patanjali yoga, and after that we practice Hatha yoga. Then we again study Patanjali yoga. Then we again practice Hatha yoga. Then we again discuss Patanjali yoga. Then, yes. So the integration is very obvious here. So I want to make clear some points on this. The Hatha yoga and this Patanjali yoga, philosophically, they are 2 different paths. That is the one point. There is no direct connection to Hatha yoga and this Patanjali yoga. I won't say one is superior or one is not inferior, or I won't say that. Or I won't say is Patanjali yoga is the oldest or ancient one, and then this Hatha yoga is new development. I won't say that, because we get much proof for both of them in Vedas and Shastras and Mahabharata, and everywhere we get so much of indications there were practices of yoga in this way. But when we study a philosophy, we must understand all these differences. Otherwise, you will be confused. What is the connection? Why we practice this and why we learn this and all this and that. So that is why I am taking up this point. And Hatha Yoga's tradition is also different. Hatha Yoga tradition, it starts from Adinatha Shiva. In Hatha Yoga Pratipika you see the promoter or the master of yoga, Hatha Yoga, is Shiva himself. He is called Adinatha. Adinathaya Namastubhyam. The first sloka comes there. Adinatha. Then Matsyendranatha is his disciple, and Shabaranatha is his disciple, and Gorakhnatha is his disciple. Then continues, goes Siddhas. The 35 Siddhas are enumerated there. That is the tradition of Hatha Yoga. There is no discussion about Prakriti, there is no discussion about gunas, which are there in Sankhya philosophy. They are not discussing those. And in Hatha Yoga is a part of 4 branches, like Mantra Yoga, Laya Yoga or Nada Yoga, and Hatha Yoga and Raja Yoga. These are the 4 parts or branches of the same yoga. Mantra Yoga, you chant mantras, Hum, Ram, Lam and all these mantras. You chant mantras and you get benefited by that. And Nada Yoga, there is sound coming from inside. When you practice intense pranayama for a long time, all kumbhagas, when you master all kumbhagas, you get these sounds from inside. Nada Yoga. That is, through Nada Yoga, you go to Samadhi. Na Nada Sadrisho Layaga. So they say the direct means for Samadhi is Nada, only Nada. To create this Nada, they practice asanas, they practice kumbhagas, they practice kriyas, they practice mudras, everything to create this Nada. So once the Nada is produced in different levels, flute and drums and so on, then you get into the Samadhi. It's a mystic way of practice. Then there is a discussion about Kundalini also. Then Hatha Yoga, Hatha Yoga has 5 or 6 steps, limbs. We say like Ashtanga Yoga, Hatha Yoga has 6 or 5. What are they? Asana, Kumbhaga, Mudra, Karana, Nada-anusandhanam. Then the 6th one is Samadhi or Kaivalya. You see the difference. There is no yama niyamas. Hathasya prathamangatvat asanam purvamuchyate. This is what Hatha Yoga Pradipika says. The first step of Hatha Yoga is asana. That is why I am going to describe the asanas here. In the first chapter of Hatha Yoga Pradipika it says. It means they consider asana as the first step. That is in Hatha Yoga. You learn it in intensive, sadhana intensive and all TTC and ATTC. You know that. Then comes Kumbhaga, Mudra, Karana, Nadanusandhanam, Samadhi or Kaivalya. Both together they mixed it up. And the philosophy of Hatha Yoga is similar to Vedanta philosophy, is connected to Vedanta philosophy. You can say the moderated Vedanta. They modified the Vedanta philosophy, Advaita Vedanta, for this purpose. It is little bit connected to Tantra, little bit connected to Shaiva Agamas, is mixed with the philosophy. There is no clarity what it means by Kaivalya. You cannot find a definition for Kaivalya in Hatha Yoga Pradipika. They say about Kaivalya, only for Kaivalya they learn all these things, but they don't talk about what Kaivalya means. Anyway, their philosophy is something different. Now, on the contrary, you see this Pada Yoga Darshana, their philosophy's metaphysics is based on Sankhya. You don't forget this. Okay? And Sankhya has all the 25 principles. And Yoga has one more, as 26th one, as Ishvara, God. So the Yoga philosophy has 26 principles. Tattvas, we say. And it is there is no discussion, elaborate discussion about asanas. Only Patanjali says, Sughasthiram asana. If you want to sit for a long time, for meditation, you need asana, and for that you need asana, you practice it. That's all. So in which posture you can sit longer time, that is called asana. That is the definition he gives. Only 3 sutras are there for the asanas. We will learn that. And when we see other scriptures, Mahabharata. Mahabharata is a great epic of the world, or we can say the greatest in the world. In Mahabharata, there are references of yoga and yoga philosophy and practices. 884 references are there in Mahabharata itself about this yoga philosophy. Okay? And Sankhya also is connected to that 120 times it is referred to Sankhya. Altogether more than 1,000 times. But the wonder is, there are only 2 mentions about asanas. In all these 1,000 references, they discuss on meditation and all other practices, but only 2 references of asanas. We don't know what is the reason for that, but we believe those days the asanas were practiced everywhere because it was well known. There was no need to refer that or establish anything about it or say anything about it. That may be the reason. But they established the Sankhya philosophy very well. There are 18 types of Sankhya philosophies in the Mahabharata. Though they did research on that and found out 18 types means slightly different philosophies. So one of them we can see in Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita is also based on Sankhya philosophy. The theory of creation is based on Sankhya philosophy. If you don't know Sankhya philosophy well, you will not know the inner meaning of Bhagavad Gita. Without Sankhya philosophy, you cannot study Bhagavad Gita. But that is one of them. It is not the traditional Sankhya, what we say ancient Sankhya by this. It is a different Sankhya, the Sankhya which accepts God as the efficient cause of the creation. And there Bhagavan says, Mayadhyakshena prakritihi suyate sacharacharam. This is very clear there. And in Gita itself you see, Gita is called Yoga Shastra. Upanishatsu Yoga Shastra. Yoga Shastreshu. This is Yoga Shastra. Why it is Yoga Shastra? Because there is mention of yoga 62 times in Gita and 72 yogi shabdas. The word yogi is used 27 times. And then the related words like yukta, yunchida, all together 38 times. So you just calculate 62 yoga word and 27 yogi and 38 yukta and yunchida, all related to yoga. And in that also, only in the 6th chapter, one sloka mentioned about asana. Shujau deshe pradisthapya sthiram asanam atmanaha. It directly goes to Patanjali Yoga Darshana. Sthiram asanam asanam atmanaha. You make a posture in which you can sit for longer. That is all. So sthira sukham asana. Why it is so? Because the goal of Patanjali Yoga Darshana is meditation and samadhi. And the goal of Gita is also the same. Realization is the ultimate goal. But the goal of Hatha Yoga is little bit different. It gives some importance to purification of body, purification of elements in the body, nadi shuddhi, and purification of pranic energy, subtle energy, and so on. And the ultimate, the accomplishment of yoga, it says in first chapter, the last sloka of Hatha Yoga Pradipika. Vapukrishatvam vadane prasannada nadaspudatvam nayane sunirmale arogida bindu jayogni deepanam nadi vishuddhir Hatha Yoga Lakshanam. You see, now for what purpose you are practicing yoga, everything is mentioned there. So Hatha Yoga Lakshanam, this is the meaning of Hatha Yoga. I think all of you know, because you are all TTC students, you took TTC and ATTC and intensive. So you know the meaning of this sloka. Vapukrishatvam, the slim body. So we are practicing is when it is, you have body weight, you want to lose weight, they are practicing Hatha Yoga. So it is said there. Vapukrishatvam, vadane prasannada, beautiful face, you are relaxed. So when you see a Hatha Yogi, you see he is relaxed and with a beautiful smile and a face. So, vapukrishatvam vadane prasanna. Nadaspudatvam, you will get a good sound, sweet sound. Nayane sudirmale, eyes are very clear. Several, all related to beauty. And then, arogida, healthy body. Bindu jayaha, so you will get the vigor and the strength of the body. Agni divanam, so you can eat whatever you want. The digestive system will be more active. So Agni divanam. Nadi vishuddhi, this is important. So purification of nadis. Nadis we call as the energy points and the pranic points or pranic energy points. So or the nadis. Nadi vishuddhis. Nadis are not veins. It is different from veins. The energy flows through nadis and blood flow through veins. There are differences. So nadi vishuddhi. Nadi vishuddhi is connected to physical strength and everything. So you need to practice yoga, asanas and kriyas and mudras and pranayama. Then this nadi vishuddhi comes, the purification of nadis. Hatha Yoga Lakshana. Then after nadi vishuddhi, you will get these sounds, nadanusandhana. When you sit for meditation, you will listen some sound from outside. Actually, it is not coming from inside, not coming from outside. The sound is experienced there. So it is, something is there. So this is the definition. So the differences we must remember when we study this. So only in one point both are together. Where the Yoga Pradipika also, Hatha Yoga Pradipika also says about Samadhi, Kaivalya, and here also the Samadhi is there. The asanas, both places asanas and pranayamas are there, but the practices are different. The purpose of asana, purpose of pranayama is different in both the places. Now when we study this Patanjali Yoga Darshana, after practicing Hatha Yoga, you will get more clarification, more benefit, because your physical body is flexible and pranic body is stable and relaxed, it means it is sattvika, it is very purified. So then you can sit for meditation. This is the step. So here you can understand that how to meditate, how to control the mind. We discussed all these points. It's all related to mind and intellect. So beyond the pranic level. So this is the connection. So that is why this is an advanced course of Hatha Yoga and Pranayama or whatever. So we took TTC and ATTC. Now we are in advanced course. So you must have that patience to follow this and be relaxed. We are going very slowly. We are entering step by step into the subject. And next section, we will discuss the summaries of the sutras and especially the summary of first chapter. So before taking off each chapter, I will give you the summary, and if time allows, I will summarize in the end also, because we know how it's proceeding. Because before you know what is you are going to study, you will get some idea, so where it changes. And after the study also, again, we do a summary. Om Purnamataha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva